first matter on the agenda is citizens' comments. Do we have anyone here who would like to speak? Sir, you come up to the lectern here.
Hello, thanks for the opportunity. My name is Scott Harris. I live at 2114 Holland Street. In regards to the community gardening, unfortunately, I've lived by two locations that were for community gardening, and I had issues with the maintenance of those particular properties. I even had to take it upon myself to take my own equipment at times and weed whack the weeds and cut the high grass that was growing. They ended up not even coming to water the gardening areas. It was just dismal at best. At best, it was dismal. So for me personally, I haven't witnessed any successful community gardening in my area. Again, those two areas were terrible. If it was anything else that it could possibly be used for, I would hope that you would further look into the possibilities of it being used for something else. That's pretty much all I have to say.
Could you tell us?
I got a question.
Sure.
Mr. Harris, could you identify the group you're associated with?
Central City Neighborhood Watch.
And what's been the group's consensus as far as community garden?
Overall, no one wants it. Everyone's been complaining about it. It just hasn't been a successful endeavor as far as I'm concerned, and most of our members are concerned.
Who were the organizations that created those community gardens and then neglected them? Do you know?
I'm not sure who they are.
Basically, the community gardens in the area, the properties were owned by the Redevelopment Authority, leased to groups with Erie International Institute, and some of the other private-owned groups were mostly church groups. And then Stairways owned a couple other community gardens. They were good for a season or two, and then as most of them, they fell into disarray.
Can I remind the board it's public comment, not public dialogue?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Are there any other citizens' comments?
Good afternoon. Diane Stewart from Central City Neighborhood Watch. And we're kind of against having the gardens because they have been put up and nobody hasn't been containing them, taking care of them. They're just their waste on 22nd and French and 23rd and Parade. So we're against that, the Central City Neighborhood Watch is.
Thank you, ma'am. Are there any other public comments? Mr. Gamble, you have a motion?
What motion would that be?
Under approval of the agenda, Sumner.
Approve the agenda.
Yep.
So we're going to go through that first?
Yep, so move for the approval of the agenda, and then Mr. Gamble can make his request.
Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
I'll
Thank you.
second that.
Thank you.
No.
Now, yes, I'd like, because I have a doctor's appointment I could not get turned around, I'd like for us to move E3 up for a vote or discussion now, so we could put this to rest. It's the third month we've looked at this. Mr. Chair.
Is there a second to
I
this
will,
motion?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Okay, we will then proceed to E3A, which is the consideration of an offer by Erie's Black Wall Street for a lot at 443 16th Street. Their offer is $500, and their plan is to have a community garden there.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
is there anyone here from the organization to speak, or I know they've spoken in the past. Is there a need for them to speak again? I think most board members are ready to move forward and vote. I just wanted to make sure they had an opportunity, if they were here, to be heard once again. Thank you.
Is anyone here
There
from?
is nobody from the
Okay.
organization here. I know they have addressed the board last month, and they provided a detailed plan and explanation as far as their vision for the property that is provided in the board's packet.
If there isn't any further discussion, do we have a motion to approve or reject this proposal?
Mr. Chairman, before we do that, I think we should note that this proposal, as it's been explained, is the legitimate proposal, the only proposal that has been received on this property, and certainly it is a legitimate proposal at that. But other confusion that may have occurred in the past, it should be cleared up that this would be the proposal that we would be moving forward on, with no other proposals that had come forward. Thank you.
Yes, that's correct. We, at one point, thought Erie County might have some interest, but they have never put forward a proposal, so this is the only matter in front of us.
The only comment I'd like to make is that obviously I've been opposed to community gardens in the area. I think anyone that's coming into the area to make a proposal for development, revitalization of that area should have a discussion with people that live there. We have a neighborhood watch group, several in the area, as well as Brock's group, the East Side Renaissance group that is doing some work in the area, Snoop's, Central City Neighborhood Watch Group, and, you know, that's some property that I think the city and this group, Redevelopment Authority, Land Bank, and the city could do better than $500 for a community garden that's really not wanted in the area. They haven't been successful. They haven't been maintained, and it's of a limited use. I respect the Erie Wall Street proposal. I would like that group with their experience, expertise, and know-how to work with us, with Central City and Booker T. Washington Center and the residents in the area to come up with a strategic plan for that area and for that land, if they so propose to get it. But the way it's written up now, and there's no reason that we got to move on it. There's no fire sale that's needed at this time for that land. That I'm hoping that this proposal is rejected at this time.
Do any other members want to comment?
Mr. Chairman, it's my understanding that by acquiring these particular lots, that this is part of the beginnings of a strategic plan, and that they have other lots available, or they have other lots that they own at present in that area. If they're not ready to move forward and they haven't met with groups, I think whether we table this or reject it or move forward on it, there should be some caveats as Mr. Gamble expressed his concerns, that we certainly have them meet with the neighborhood and have a strategic plan moving forward. My understanding was that this was the beginning of being able to achieve a larger strategic plan.
And I'll add, I agree with Mr. Gamble that the community gardens have not been successful here, and they really don't forward the prospects of the city if we end up with property that is not developed and resided in. So Erie's Black Wall Street is an investor in this immediate area, so they certainly have a bona fide interest in this parcel. But I agree with Mr. Gamble that what we want to see is development. We want these properties to have structures constructed upon them, and that since the history with community gardens has not been good, I understand the approbation of the neighborhood to having yet one more created at this time.
Mr. Chair, may I make a comment?
Yes.
So I had the opportunity to meet with Erie's Black Wall Street a few weeks ago to review this plan, and this plan and the plan associated and presented to the board is based on one lot. And so upon that conversation and the identification of additional lots, that they have a greater vision for the area, and it's a highly distressed block, as anyone knows. There's a need for revitalization within there. The Redevelopment Authority owns a commercial building at the corner of 16th and Parade, and Erie's Black Wall Street has recently acquired, I believe, 2 parcels within that 1600 block. With this parcel and the other parcels from the Redevelopment Authority, they seek to create more of a community space, and something that, when we were at the National Land Bank Network, that we seen and toured in Detroit, and multiple different organizations have taken vacant parcels and turned them in and activated them as an asset for the residents around the area. And certainly the sale of this lot, wouldn't prevent future development. However, it does move a lot out of the land bank's inventory and reduces our seasonal maintenance of that parcel. This area, anyone who's familiar with the 400 block of East 16th and 17th, is an area in which we've had an aggressive amount of blight mitigation over the years. It also contains 2 repository lots along with 4 Redevelopment Authority owned vacant parcels, an alleyway that is not maintained. So it's an area that needs somebody to address this area, and an area in which an organization rooted in there and looking to have a foothold would be a benefit to the community. So that's my conversations with them and what they portrayed to me.
Do we have a motion on this contract?
After looking over the proposal, I would motion to approve the proposal only due to the fact that I know that Erie Black Wall Street is going to try to be successful with this garden, and if for whatever reason they would not be able to, I'm 100% sure they'd be able to pivot and do something else with this piece of land to make it worth everyone's while.
And just to add to that, I have no problem with Erie's Black Wall Street purchasing this lot for development. It's just this community garden use is a suspect use based on the experience in the neighborhood there.
And I'll have to agree with Mr. Gamble and Mr. Summer as well as far as the community gardens. On 22nd and Holland, there was a big mess as far as with the community garden, and also going down on 23rd, I believe, and 22nd and Parade. The neighborhood does not look good, and so I think we have to look at what the residents want, and if Erie Black Wall Street wants to reach out to the public, the neighborhood watch group, that I think they should have a meeting with them. But right now, based on what the neighborhood looks like, I would be against voting for a community garden.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I don't want to discourage nor us to eliminate the potential for development of this site. However, I do agree with my colleagues, and rather than see this proposal get voted down, if we don't have a second, I would rather see us table this and go back to them and see if we can get them to sit down and have a public meeting with the people in the neighborhood, with the neighborhood groups, and elaborate more on their strategic plan of how they want to move forward with this. Again, as my understanding, this was just to create a purpose for this lot while they were continuing to move their strategic plan forward. But if this is something that's going to end up long-term and we don't have the development there, I don't think that satisfies any of us and what we're trying to accomplish.
We have a motion to table this?
Well, no, you have a motion still to move it forward first.
Is there a second to that? No second to that? No. You have a motion to table?
So then I would then...
To allow Black Wall Street?
Yeah, I would then make a motion that we table this and ask those folks to sit down with the neighborhood groups and have a public meeting to talk about their longer range strategic plan.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right,
Okay,
fair enough.
thank you. Mr. Gamble is excused. He has an important appointment.
Trying to live.
Right. Okay, we'll move back to the minutes of September 15th meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Chair, am I permitted to be recognized as a liaison
Sure.
with this motion? Just noticing in the meeting minutes that there's identification of two citizen comments, but there is a third citizen who is acknowledged under the guest speaking, Dr. Rhonda Matthews, but the comments are not outlined within the meeting minutes. And it would just be, I think it would offer a lot to just have those comments recognized as they are relevant to the other motion that was just tabled. So I would request that the board amend these minutes to reflect the comments that were made by the citizen who came last time, Dr. Rhonda Matthews, just as they're in as you're debating the project that was proposed, just so there's public document reference.
Is there any objection to that
No.
proposed revision? I don't have a problem with
No, that's fine.
Thank you.
it. So those minutes need to be amended to include some detail on that citizen's comments last month as it's relevant to this 443 East 16th lot.
Should we officially then ask to amend the minute, I mean, as far as a vote? Do we need to amend the minutes as requested, or to reflect the liaisons? How do you want us to?
I
Yeah.
think-
Yeah, to cover your bases, it's probably not a bad idea to have a motion and a
Okay.
vote to integrate those comments in the minutes.
Which we could then vote on next
Yep.
month.
Correct.
Give them an opportunity to do that.
Okay.
That's correct.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to amend the minutes from the September 15th meeting to reflect the liaisons' comments and additions to the minutes.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next on the agenda is the finance report.
I'm sorry, before we go to the finance report, so we're going to then table the voting of the actual minutes until the revisions are accepted, so should we, because we do have another motion to accept and second it to vote on the minutes, so should we amend the table the minutes as until next meeting?
That's correct.
Okay, so I would make a motion that we then table the minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
So you're going to be approving
2 minutes next.
next.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the finance report?
Yes, so in your packet, first you have the balance sheet. The profit and loss was showing a total net income of $221,454.68 as of the end of September. And then we have the budget versus actuals from January through September, and a list of the check detail report for the month of September of all of the checks that were dispersed. Did you have any questions?
I don't have any questions. Does anybody else?
I don't have any.
Okay, can we have a?
I would make a motion that we accept the finance report.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, our next item is the report of the executive director.
All right, thank you. So a lot of the other stuff comes in later in the agenda as far as judicial tax sale, but two things for the board. Tomorrow, the Erie County Land Bank meets in their board meeting, and the 2026 Erie Land Bank work plan is on the agenda, so I will follow up with the board after that meeting and let you know how that comes out. Another thing for the board to be aware of, and just for the public, and the Center for Community Progress in their blog highlighted the Erie Land Bank and Redevelopment Authority's East Bayfront Greenway Trail work and our acquisition of properties for the creation of a public asset in the East Bayfront area from 6th to 12th Parade to Wayne, and identified it as a model of success and progress within the acquisition of land banking and vacant lots. So if you go to the Center for Community Progress and their blog page, you'll be able to read the story that highlights an interview that I had with them a couple months ago regarding land banking. So that's my report for today.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the solicitor's report.
Good afternoon, Board. It's nice to be here on another sunny Monday. You'll see on my memorandum, my report, there are any number of properties that we are working through to get to closing. Some of those properties are in progress and have been addressed, taking care of back due taxes, taking care of old Pennsylvania inheritance tax payments and such. So we're working through all those to get these to closing. In fact, I have 6 deeds for signature today to get those to closings. So that's the first part in the signed agreements. Then I want to give you a regular update on the progress of the quiet title actions. You see that we're pushing and working these on a really strict time constraint, making sure that there's no grass growing under any of them, because again, what we want to do is we want to clear these titles so that we have clear title and that we can sell them or get them in a position where they can be demolished and get them hopefully back onto the tax rolls. You'll see I've added a little paragraph on there that kind of explains, and I use this language that I have in bold to educate the court when I am sending them documentation in advance of the request for the final order, I'm basically educating the court saying, hey, look, we're doing this quiet title action a lot of times in addition to the tax sale, because I've had judges say, Gene, this has already gone through tax sale. Aren't you doing it twice? And I go, yeah, Judge, exactly what I'm doing. But I need to do that because the title companies will not let the buyer borrow money and utilize a title insurance policy if I don't do that. So we're enabling the buyer to be able to confirm and rest assure themselves and the title company that's free and clear title coming out of us. And then the last notation is, again, a wonderful ongoing process. When you drive by West 6th Street, Steve Lewis, the contractor, is he's building.
It's so great to see that foundation.
It's just, yeah.
Your reports every month are very dry, but it just, that's a real plus for the
It really-
community to see that foundation.
It
in
really
there.
is. And that's the type of stuff that, as in the Erie Land Bank, makes me kind of burst with pride. Hey, look, we're doing something positive for the city. We're encouraging building, and it's happening right here.
Private
on both-
development.
On both the, right, development, both on the east side and the west side. But we want that to be a showcase. So I drive by that periodically and check on it. But yeah, the foundation's going in. So it's a wonderful thing. So thank you for the opportunity to help in those regards. If there's any questions with these, please let me know. If there's any follow-up afterwards when you're reviewing the report, go ahead, please shoot me an email. I'll get back to you at maybe 4:30 in the morning, but I'll get back to you and give you an update.
I'm intrigued, you mentioned you had several deeds with you.
I do. We have,
Thank you.
yeah, we do. So
As
let's.
opposed to one by one by one by one. Yeah,
It's correct.
great.
Thank you.
All we need is a secretary. We don't have one, right?
We're going to have one.
We,
Does anybody have any other questions of Attorney Sundberg? Okay. Well, we'll move on to our unfinished business and new business. And officer vacancies are what we need to address so we can sign some deeds. I think the positions we need are secretary and then an assistant secretary treasurer.
No, the bylaws only identify 4 positions, so.
Okay.
When we work on amending the bylaws, if we want to add an assignment of an assistant secretary treasurer, we can, but right now we just have a vacancy of secretary.
Okay. Do we have a nomination for secretary?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I would like to nominate Dana Dickerson for the position.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
I'm saying aye.
Dana, you have to stay after the meeting with me so we can get 10 of them signed here. Trust me, it's the way to do it. Okay, our next matter on the agenda is authorization for the executive director to serve as a check signer with the board treasurer and sign deeds and contracts to streamline operational efficiency. We have the resolution in the package. Are there any questions about this?
So would this mean 2 check signers now instead of the one?
We always have had 2 check signers.
It'll just mean you'll be able to sign if someone's not available?
Yes.
Okay.
It replaces myself with the board chair as the other signer. So there's 1 board member and myself as a signer. It just eliminates the need for 2 citizens to come in and sign.
You know, for example, I'm going on vacation next week. I wouldn't be in town, and oftentimes they need to get these payments out, so we need to have more flexibility, I think.
I agree.
Are there any other comments on the resolution?
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, then we've already addressed 443 East 16th Street. And we go on to item E4, which is the judicial tax sale option agreements.
All right, so,
I'm sorry, just,
yeah,
is there a B under number 2 that we need to,
that was moved as one resolution.
that was, okay,
Yeah,
thank
that's-
you.
It's one resolution.
Thank you. So just let my motion then reflect that it was all as one.
Okay, on the judicial tax sale option agreements, that's the list of properties that you
Yeah, so,
went over with us.
provided to
last
the
week.
board, and what Kyle has up here is out of the list of judicial tax sale properties, we've done our due diligence and looked at things as far as utilities, current utility status, occupancy, and done an inspection of the property, and so put together 20 priority properties for the judicial tax sale. And so that is associated with the proposed 2026 work plan that is on the county land bank agenda for tomorrow. So pending a successful allocation of the ask to the Erie County Land Bank, it would be my motion or my request to the board to approve the acquisition and the option agreements for these 20 properties.
And so we can all be clear on this, particularly myself, my understanding is we have a priority here where we can select properties, and just by paying the tax balance, which we often end up requesting it be abated, right? We have first crack at this list of properties.
Yes, so our agreement with the county and the legislating that creates land banks allows us to have an option at the judicial tax sale. We pay the minimum bid of $1,000 plus fees, which ends up being $1,188 per property. But in order to do that, we have to complete and submit the option agreement along with a check for $1,188 to the Tax Claim Bureau prior to the sale in December. So that is why, just in preparation, because the next board meeting in November falls really close to that sale, it is my request to the board to get a motion to move forward with these, or the amount that we are obligated from the Erie County Land Bank to have those options.
So all these properties are on the sale list for this year. I'm sure there's still a lot of properties in the repository.
There's a substantial amount of properties in the
Do we
repository.
review that as well? Do you ever buy out of the repository?
The land bank has purchased out of the repository, given that the repository list is primarily vacant lots, and we already own quite a few of those. We review the repository list when it in reference to our already owned parcels for combination. We did that on Prospect. We had a structure, there was a repository lot next door, we bought the repository lot and combined it to create one parcel.
And have you,
I have a couple questions, and it's based on what Dana has spoken about in prior meetings, which is that we sometimes take properties off the market that private investors are interested in. And in looking at this list, I saw two where that might be a concern. And one would be the single family at 716 East 9th, which was considered to be in fair condition. And then in an area where I'm quite familiar, there's a flat at 815 East 23rd. Both of these properties have a little bit under $5,000 in taxes due. If they went to the judicial sale, there would not be an abatement of the taxes, and a private purchaser would be able to move forward more quickly than us. So why are those two properties on this? Some of the others are unsafe or in poor condition and are targets for demolition, and I have no issue with them, but just on those two,
Right.
why wouldn't we let those go to sale and then, kind of track them?
Yeah, so two questions there, and both valid questions. First, there is no abatement of taxes. Given that these are
Okay.
lien-free sale taxes, the minimum bid is $1,000. The taxes are abated at the time in which they enter the sale. And I guess one
So
unassociated
if it's
question.
judicial sale, they'll take a bid that's
Of
less than...
$1,000.
Okay.
There's property on the tax sale that has over $500,000 in past due taxes. It could sell for $30,000. It's just in essence a way to get them back onto the tax rolls. The second question you had as far as why would the land bank take ownership of these properties? So in that they are vacant, the utilities have been off, we have gone through that. What we've seen since 2020 is the sale moved online. And so with that sale moving online, there's a higher percentage of out-of-town property owners, investment companies, asset companies who are purchasing properties within the city of Erie. The land bank optioning these properties off the tax sale list allows us to steward those properties back into a productive reuse for residents of the city of Erie or Erie County. We have the ability to prevent the preying of our neighborhood by out-of-town investment companies. The land bank can then take that property, clear the title, do a quiet title action, and steward those properties to a developer that we know and we trust, and allow us to cut that property out of the cycle, which we have done many times since 2020 and beyond. We've seen the judicial tax sale list drop in its amount, and that is because the land bank has been allowed to step in, option properties, and stop that recycling of tax sale properties every 3 years from investors who are preying, essentially getting a property, either profiting from it, using it for asset, and then recycling it on the tax sale every 3 years. So why would the land bank do it? Because in an effort to steward the neighborhoods, it's in the best interest of the Erie community.
Were there any other bids on those two properties, or?
There is no bids until the time the sale happens.
Okay. And we can buy them, or anybody can buy them for $1,100?
We are the only entity allowed to option them at the minimum price. If we do not option them, they hit the auction block, and they will be auctioned as in a standard auction.
And at the standard auction, do the taxes have to be paid?
The taxes are essentially wiped clean at the beginning of the sale. The property sells
So the
for-
minimum price is still $1,000?
Minimum price is
Okay.
still $1,000 or $750 for mobile homes.
Well, if we ended up buying these two, it would seem to me that we would want to recoup some of the value that's there. I mean, we're going to be doing a quiet title action and probably a fair amount of interior work. I mean, these are ones where I think we could make a profit on. And we need to make a profit simply so we can do more. We have such a limited budget. It really struck me when I heard that Flint had $50 million to buy lots, and our budget's $500,000 a year. So we have to get ahead somewhere, and these two properties have that potential, I think.
Yeah, in land banking, land banks have three abilities to sustain their operating expenses, and one of them is the acquisition of property and the resale for profit. But stewardship, and I don't want to emphasize that stewardship option of the land bank's abilities. You know, whether we make profit on a property or not, it's the ability to make sure that we're choosing the best interest for that property.
Now, the properties that are, because we're concerned about the look of the community as a whole, are the lots that are in the repository, are they maintained by the county? Are they out mowing them, or are they just sitting?
No, the county has taken a stance, as far as I'm aware, many years ago, that they will not maintain repository lots. So they essentially sit on the list. They are identified as the owner who lost them at the judicial tax sale and then listed on the repository lot list for sale.
Have you and Kyle walked through all 20 of these?
They have visited the exterior of these properties. The properties that are blighted have been tagged for access by the redevelopment authority. Under our legislation, we're permitted to do that. So Kyle and one of the other inspectors will make access to those properties on Wednesday, when the 10-day period expires for notice.
So if you make entrance and you decide you do not want the property anymore, it just goes back on the list for sale?
Yes. So what happens, so we submit our option agreement to the Tax Claim Bureau, McDonald runs the sale. Two things can happen. We can either withdraw our option agreement on a property, or the owner that has been notified can pay the taxes in full, and the property can be removed from sale. We had, I think, three or four properties removed from sale last year because they paid for it. Now, if we do enter the property, really, we would look at that as two things. Either it's salvageable and we can start to maybe plan for rehabilitation or resale under a development agreement. But if it isn't salvageable, I'm not really sure that we would back out of our option, because we certainly wouldn't want somebody from out of town purchasing a property we know should be demolished when the land bank has the ability and access to Act 152 funds to facilitate the demolition of the property.
So Aaron, what happens to, I noticed that there are two properties, that one is occupied and then one has an unauthorized occupant. What do you do with those properties if we purchase those?
So, and Kyle, if you want to touch on that, but unauthorized occupancy is essentially we would move forward with acquisition of the property as we've done in the past and go through the writ of possession process that Gene can speak on. But Kyle, if you want to talk about our conversation as far as the occupied one.
Yeah, I mean, monitoring the structures, identifying the occupants, and going from there. Really, just trying to secure these properties, identify the occupant, and monitor the structure.
What we know is there's no utilities, there's no water at these properties, and so the presumption is that they're occupied, but they're unauthorized. So certainly we don't want to go through and acquire a property that's occupied. We don't want, the land bank doesn't want tenants. However, we know there is no water service at these properties. That's one thing we've checked. So between now and the time of the sale, we're going to continue to evaluate those properties and try to determine, are they actually occupied, or is there just somebody sitting on the front porch at the time of the inspection? So that's kind of what we're doing now. The ones on this list and the ones presented to the board have no water service. It's essentially unauthorized occupancy because city code requires water service for a property to be habitable.
So when the Erie Land Bank puts a property on its list and is going to buy it, the existing owner is notified that that's occurred?
The existing owner has been notified that the judicial tax sale,
Right.
It's been posted. The Tax Claim Bureau takes care of that process. The list is notified that the land bank has put in an option on a property so that the community knows which properties the Erie Land Bank is optioning.
That's why when you look at the list, it's highlighted in what color? Blue? Just saying Erie
Yeah,
Land Bank?
blue or orange, green, depends upon the notification, but it's all, the top of the front page of the judicial tax sale list identifies what's going to be Erie Land Bank and what would be options for the Erie County Land Bank.
Okay.
Board, I'll just to supplement what Aaron has said, there are, I'll just say, private equity firms that will go around the country and will grab these properties to theoretically add value to their portfolio, and with no intentions of ever doing any updates or monitoring of these properties, working with trying to get one out of South Carolina. That's just what they did. They just saw an opportunity to say, hey, look, we can say, hey, we've got a piece of property that's worth $250,000, and they've added to their portfolio.
Yeah, they can equalize the assessment or something like
Yeah.
that. Even though they
Something
only
like
paid
that, and now it's
$200.
justified. It's justified to their investors that they have the collateral, but with no intentions. Erie, Pennsylvania does not fit into their business model in all. But they're using these tax sales to attempt to quantify or qualify what their collateral is for another loan or some other process. But in the meantime, we as the Erie community suffer the adverse consequences of that. So Aaron and his team have been, again, he says it's right. He's a shepherd of these properties for our city. And now word is out. Word is out what the land bank is doing, and we're seeing people back away from that tactic.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we accept the list for the judicial tax sale as presented to us.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion's approved.
Thank you.
The next topic is Erie Land Bank tax abatement.
Mr. Chair, we have no tax abatement requests this month.
Okay. Do we have any other business?
No other business.
We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.